Bubba, back as I talked about getting back to priority, World Vision Radiothon. You know what I'm thinking? If I could go to one of these poverty-stricken villages.
Oh, yeah.
Or stricken. And stricken and strucken and scoop up about 12 boys out of that village, you think they would play hard just for a hot dog?
Oh, I know.
Hey, we win, we get a hot dog.
I mean, they get in there and scratch and claw.
I mean, you got these kids today. Hey, man, how about a hot dog? Oh, I can get all the hot dogs I want. You know, I mean, can you imagine bringing some of those kids out there and suiting them up? You think they'd go nuts?
Oh, Rick, just the joy of playing and having a ball and equipment.
Can you imagine?
Would be good for them, yeah.
World Vision Radiothon happens tomorrow. 450 children we hope to sponsor to help fight children's poverty around the world. Last Chance Kids will be a big part of it. These are the kids, because of their age, they've never been sponsored, and this is their final year. If they don't get sponsored this year, they'll never receive any sponsorship or any help. So we'll focus on them tomorrow, but you can sponsor any child you'd like around the world through World Vision. You find that at rickandbubba.com. You'll see it right there on the homepage if you'd like to go ahead and start the process. We hope at the end of it that we surpass comfortably 450 children, which that is our goal, our minimum goal. And we will start that process again tomorrow. Be praying about that. See how you feel led to participate. Maybe this is something that over the last 2 years you've thought, not this year. Oh, man, we just can't get settled as a family. Sit down and talk about it. Go ahead and get ready. Get dads, get your family together, and say, look, this is what we need to talk about, and just see if you can, and really, frankly, if it becomes sacrificial to you, that's even better. If it's easy to do, you don't seem to appreciate it as much. So we'll talk about that on the program tomorrow. But be thinking and praying about that for the next 24 hours if you haven't already. But that also brings the pride of Connecticut, and of course, Mr. New York City himself, Bob Carey. He is the president of Syndicated Solutions. Syndicated Solutions syndicates the Rick and Bubba Show around the country. Bob, of course, is a mover and a shaker, and he always
big Yankee fan.
Big Yankee fan. Sorry about that.
Thanks.
Yeah, you all right?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Could you relate to what I just walked through a minute ago?
Did I hear you say that it's not good, but it's tolerable because the Phillies are out too?
Yeah, I felt a lot better once the Phillies were out. I said, it was tough enough. It was okay because the Red Sox were out. All right, so that was the first thing you could deal with that, because the Yankees did beat the Red Sox. When the Phillies went out, most people at the beginning of the year were saying, what, Yankees, Phillies, or Red Sox, Phillies, World Series? Well, apparently the top three spending teams, that didn't get them very far, did it?
Well, and that helps when that happens.
It made it a little better. But A-Rod, it just that was tough to take.
One of the things that we love to check in with Bob about, because this is the way things progress. It starts in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
The politicization of the world.
That's right.
And then it works its way to
Little League.
to the northeast of America.
Rick, it kind of works a duel. It hits both coasts, I think,
right.
at the same time.
You're right. West Coast and the northeast.
And then those of us in the middle eventually get hit from the wave from either side.
It hits the east and west coast. Bob lives up on the east coast or in the northeast. And then it trickles its way down to where the real Americans live.
It's like a shockwave.
Into the heartland and then on down into the south, okay? So you almost warn us of things to come by telling us what's happening in Connecticut with our country.
Right.
And you were telling me that you and your wife have decided to build a new home.
2 homes. 2.
One for each of you?
No, well, actually, some people in our
else
town.
we need to talk about?
Yeah, some people in our town have thought that. But no, basically, Bubba, in today's world, you need to sell 2 homes to build one, which is what we're doing.
So you're going to sell your current home, sell the one of the homes you're building,
correct,
and then live in one you're building.
That's correct.
And try to use I know this is an evil word in America now, the profit or equity,
right,
and these 2 properties to then pay for the.
So you were building a home to sell on purpose?
We bought the property next door to our current home back in. We started the process in February. Older woman, unfortunately, she was put into a nursing home. It was a home that it was a knockdown house. So we decided to do that. But the property that was adjacent to that, it was zoned mixed use. So we didn't want to build a new house and then all of a sudden have a 7-Eleven someday next to us, okay, or something like that. So after a lot of negotiation back and forth, in April we decided to buy both parcels. So yes, Bubba, we are building a spec house, which is almost done. Anyone wants to buy it. I'm out there selling homes.
Yeah, Bob, I'm not economics expert on MSNBC or anything, but houses are not really selling real good right now.
Well, but we've built something very different in our community that doesn't exist, and we've kept the cost very low to kind of control that property. And I would also say the flip side of that, Bubba, is you can build a house today a lot less expensive than you could have 3 or 4 years ago. So I think it all washes in the end. I keep knocking on wood and praying every Sunday. I'm there on my knees, so I'm doing a lot of it.
But as the politicization of America is rampant,
yeah,
you've run into some of this trying to build the house.
It has been unbelievable.
Is this the spec house or the house you're going to
live
in?
Well, it's both. It is both. I was talking to Rick a few weeks ago, and I was sharing something with him, and it's one of those things where he said, "Bob, stop.
Just stop.
Come on.
Yeah."
And anyone who doesn't know me, and I'll share with with what I share with Rick, you're going to be like, this is unbelievable. And it was totally unbelievable. And I think it's probably, it's the monarch butterfly.
Now, Bubba, prepare yourself. When we come back.
The great monarch butterfly.
The call that Bob gets. Now, we've all been through building houses, okay?
Oh, yes.
And that wonderful experience. And when you go to the job site and no work is being done and you're like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
When Bob is told what has taken place and the phone calls he has to make and the things that happen to delay the building of that house involving the monarch butterfly, you will not believe. And to hear Bob tell it, because he's so, there's just something about Bob's New York attitude and that confused voice he gets in, the you got to be kidding me voice.
When he looks like Jerry Seinfeld?
Yeah. We'll come back. It's 15 minutes past the hour. The plot of the monarch butterfly hits Bob Carey right in the face. We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba.
As we make our way back, Bob Carey joins us. Syndicated Solutions syndicates the Rick and Bubba program. He's in town, obviously doing a little business here with the show, but mainly to watch over the World Vision Radiothon that will be happening tomorrow and into Friday. Hopefully we'll come back Friday as we have the last 2 years and begin to celebrate, making the go and then going on to exceed it on Friday. I hope that's the case. We will be doing the normal show, but the Radiothon will be a big part of that. So Bob was telling us you have chosen to build not one but 2 houses. I understand what you're saying, where there's people who need work, so the cost of building a house reasonable right now. Now trying to sell one not so good, but hopefully that will work out. But you tell us the story you told me about going out to check on the progress at the site.
Well, I get a call from a builder. And he said, Bob, I need to talk to you. I need you to come over to the job site. Okay. So I get over to the job site. And
picture every bit of this. Look right here.
So he said,
you've got me there.
We've been stopped. We've been shut down. We can't. This is, now maybe 8 weeks ago. We've been shut down. We can't do any more building. And he said, you're going to need to take care of this because I know you'll go down and take care of it with the town building department. Okay, fine. I said, what's the issue? He said, we've been shut down because of disturbance to the wetlands. And I said, what? I said, we don't even have any wetlands. I said, what are you talking about?
This property's right beside where you live.
Exactly. Now, there is an
Maybe
area,
that's the problem. You need some wetlands.
I guess when the state put the road in, they deemed an area to be wetlands. And we do have a setback area, but I've lived on this property, essentially the 3 parcels, for 11 years, and there's no water.
Okay. Have you ever seen the wild crane come in?
I have not seen the wild crane. I have not seen alligator. I haven't seen anything. Okay, there's nothing. I haven't even,
there's no water.
Bob, what about the wetlands?
It's weeds.
So we're shut down for the wetlands. Now, I'm already, and I fully admit, this process has made me very stressed on top of my normal stress.
Right, buddy.
So you got it right, Spitty. So I said, okay, fine. Tell me what the issue is. And he started to explain. I said, you know what? I'll deal with it. So I call up the woman who handles she is the town health
monarch butterfly
health
watcher
inspector.
Bet she has a personality.
So I called her up and she said to me,
I bet she's a pleasure. Sure.
Well, she was.
Hello.
So I said, I told her who I was. We own the property. She goes, oh, I didn't know you lived next door. I said, yeah, I live right next door. And I said, so I understand that there's a disturbance to the wetland.
Seemed like you'd have had your wetland forms.
Well, our building has been stopped. And she said, yes. And I said, is it because I'm mowing the lawn down there? Because the builder had told me, because I kept cutting back more and more of the brush to make more of the property. And she said, no. And she said, you've cleared the hillside. of an awful lot of the vegetation. I said, well, yeah, we did. We had to put the septic in and so forth, right? And so anyway, so this advances, and she said to me, you've killed off a lot of milkweed. And I said, I don't even know what milkweed is. Okay, I have no idea what milkweed. So she explained it to me. I said, oh, that's probably what bothers my allergies when I'm down there mowing the lawn.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So she said, do you know what milkweed is the #1 food source for?
I love that she won't just tell you. She wants you to guess.
And I'm sitting there.
Picture her tone, right?
I will just tell you right now, my blood pressure is rising by the second of this because
I wouldn't want to have had to answer
we
that.
have builders
that
now
question.
standing around
that you pay by
No.
the hour.
exactly,
No,
and
nor
I'm just writing
do I.
checks. So I said I have no idea.
Let me first start by telling you to the level I care. But first of all, I'd say no, I don't know. But let me be clear. It's going to be real hard to make me be concerned. But go ahead.
I would have said, how much milkweed do you have in your yard?
Right.
Well, above it. So it gets so she may have a lot. So she said to me, monarch butterflies. Now,
Was there silence? Did you pause?
it was one of those moments
Do you think you
where
were being punked
I knew
by
if,
Steve
I
Downs?
knew if I said
Or
what I wanted to
Mulvaney.
say, but I knew if I said what I wanted to say, we still wouldn't be building today.
Right. It would be the
You're
stop
right.
stop
So
of all
I knew
building.
immediately. So I said to myself, and I was,
Well, Mississippi to Mississippi.
Exactly.
Calm down.
and she said, and then she added, which are in declining population.
Okay.
Like she knows.
So what went through my head was,
I've seen a lot of them, by the
this
way.
is the spotted owl all over again.
Right.
Here it is. I have the spotted owl in a monarch butterfly.
Yep.
There's plenty of butterflies.
So she said to me, we talked this through, and she said to me, would you be okay?
Please listen to this.
Would you be okay if I were to come out to the property for the next week, pretty much telling me that she shut us down for a week,
Yeah.
remove the larvae from the milkweed that remains and relocate it to
Bob
other
Carey.
areas of the town that we live in Ridgefield, Connecticut, so that the monarchs have a chance to prosper.
Bob
Now,
Carey.
at this point, I still 7 weeks later, I have Rick. That's where Rick said to me, "Bob, stop." I think that's exactly the line.
I said, you mean to tell me someone took tweezers or something?
Transplanted milkweed with monarch butterfly
Not the
larvae
milkweed,
in it?
the larvae.
Take
Just
the
the
larvae.
larvae.
Bubba,
The larvae. We
Bubba.
separated the larvae.
I know that I am an animal expert on this
Right,
program, which does not take me to the level of this woman.
Right.
I would like for someone.
Quite the shame she's in the building department.
Right. I would like to. I don't think they survive if you take them off.
You don't tamper with larvae.
and
She
move them.
came out
What are they
for the
going to
next
reconnect to another milkweed down the road?
That's when I would have asked her if is it okay if you pay my subs for a week?
Well, listen,
while we sit
I
here?
just said to her, listen, I have 2 boys. If you want to make it a science project, I'm happy to volunteer them with you. But she came out for the next week, 3 or 4 days, and she did with little bags and sacks. I didn't see it. The contractor told me about it. And she was picking stuff off and putting it in bags and taking it away. Where it went, but then she added,
To the funny farm.
And this is
Is that
government.
the law you have to do that?
Well, this is the line though that we know when you deal with government. She said, and there's a $1,000 fine.
Bingo.
I said, there's what? I said, why is there a $1,000 fine? And she said to me, well, you have every right to challenge it to the Wetland Review Board,
Oh my God!
but they meet infrequently.
Y'all, we pay for that.
No, listen. They meet infrequently.
So it may be several months before you get on the agenda. So in other words, pay the $1,000. Let me pick the milkweed larvae off of it. You can get back to
I'll go a step further. And
I think it was a
I'll
scam,
say
by the
it,
way.
and
I think
want-
she wanted
And I want to be
$1,000.
clear, Bob Carey did not say this. The way that woman presented that, you heard Bob being blackmailed.
No question.
That is called government extortion.
Yeah, is what
Hey,
that is.
Bubba, what are you going to do?
She ought to be serving a jail sentence.
Right.
Period. To cut out that stuff. And you're not doing justice if you don't prosecute her once your house is built.
Because you know what she said?
she'll be out again for the next
How about
hostage.
this? Now you can't appeal this, knowing that you just
Yeah.
want your house finished.
Yeah.
Now
That is not
but I don't know.
government.
I don't know when you
Hey.
ever get a chance to actually redress it.
Is that government of the people, for the people, by the people?
Absolutely not.
All right, so she comes out. She comes
You
out 3 or 4
can
times.
pay.
Is she
I'd have
is she
got
okay
sling
now?
blade to
She's
the
been
milk.
fine.
when
Hey,
we
I've got
there.
it.
No,
all
she's
this?
fine, but she has been coming out to the property regularly ever
Bubba, please,
since.
still coming.
Because we have, it's a hill. Where our new home is going to be at the top of a hill, and at the bottom of the hill is this other home that we've built, and we have to have all this silt fence put up to make sure a runoff doesn't come down
Sure,
the hill.
yeah.
And in the Northeast, I'm sure we've been we've had so much rain over the last 2 months. It's been crazy. Certainly has made building difficult. She's been coming out trying to monitor if we're having any runoff because she wants to find us for the builder, at least. That's his perception. She wants to find, I guess.
But is she in charge of that too?
Well, I guess
because that's a big department. Monarch butterfly larvae and runoff.
Does she bring
that's a lot of expertise in one hat there.
Does she bring a bag when she's testing the silt runoff in case she spots a larvae?
Yeah.
Whenever we have a heavy rain, she's been out, and I guess what we've been told, because houses aren't selling obviously like they did, the conveyance tax in the town is down, so they're trying to find and make money any way they can.
That's called revenuing.
That's revenuing, by the way.
Yeah.
Illegal.
It's unbelievable. It has been, but there have been so many.
Are you two boys down there with little butterflies?
And here's what they know.
Catching any butterfly. Hurry up, catch them. Catch them.
Listen, and here's what they know.
She's coming back.
We're in the mode of, man, I just want to get this finished.
Right.
Man, I don't need delays. And they know they got you.
Yeah.
They do.
And if it goes on to you, how many other hundreds of people are getting run through this extortion ring?
Bubba, a person stopped jobs, stopped a building project to come look over the milkweed on a hill near the project to remove monarch larvae and relocate them.
I would like to know, and Bob, I think you should demand a report of how many of those larvae actually turned into butterflies. Or did she destroy them in her transportation of them? I'd like to know the temperature they were kept at, the humidity, what procedure. I'd like to see it all outlined. Or are you going to write her up to the Wetlands Board?
And
they don't meet very frequently. So it may be a problem.
I love they meet infrequently, meaning we don't know when they'll meet.
It's just been unbelievable. There have been so many things.
That's why we invented cruise missiles.
We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba.
Bob Carey visiting with us, Syndicated Solutions. Bob handles syndicating the Rick and Bubba Show and trying to expand the territory around the country. So he comes to visit from time to time to talk business and usually tries to come since we started doing the World Vision Radiothons a couple of years ago. We've never done radiothons. It's the only charity that we've ever teamed up with to do radiothons because if you do them all the time, then it kind of loses its impact. And so they're special to us, and we're excited about the opportunity again tomorrow to see the continued work that these guys do. And, of course, those of you that have read the book by the founder of World Vision, Hole in the Gospel, and a lot of churches have even gone through that as curriculum for a time. They're a pretty special organization, and we look forward to being part of that in some small way tomorrow. You will be the ones that will step up. All of us here have sponsored children, and we would never ask you to do something that we're not willing to do. But please pray about what your role may be tomorrow. We can use you, and more importantly, these children can use you. So, Bob, you also are showing Americans, Bub and I have talked about this, that we think that all things are the problem why in this country jobs are going overseas, businesses are leaving, and the economy is stifled. And we fail to realize that a lot of the problems that are created in our economy right now are created by the government. The government is not going to be the answer to clear them up.
Not at all.
And you today, once again, are showing us examples of how difficult it is when everybody says, man, we need people, construction people out there working, man, we need people building houses, we need people doing this. And then when you do it, the stuff that the local, state, and federal government make you jump through, like the larvae of the monarch butterfly.
Bob, I'll go this far. Go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. No, I was really done.
Budinsky is taking over.
That was my final. That was my final thought. Bob was going to continue to tell us other things he's had to go through.
Is she qualified to gather larvae of the monarch butterfly? Mm-hmm.
And have you seen a business card?
This is a desk jockey over there at City Hall. I mean, who are you to be? She's the one tampering with the larvae, not Bob.
Who's to say?
We just assume because she's from City Hall that somehow she's correct about everything. That's not always true.
Well, now remember, Bubba, for $1,000, we'll walk around out there with little bags and go away.
For a week, right?
Who did that $1,000 go to?
Well, it kept her in business for another 6 days or so or something.
So tell us some of the other horrors.
Bob, are you sure you want to go into this?
Well,
I mean,
I was
you're
just
never gonna
sharing
get
with
to,
you.
Is this the reason why you won't find us an affiliate in your hometown?
That's probably, that's right.
I got bad news for you about XM 166.
Yeah, I know. That's right. People are always saying, where can I hear them? Oh, no, I don't even mention that.
When you're at home, hey, where can I hear those? I don't know.
Rick,
No,
he
I don't
really
know.
lives in Seattle. This is about Seattle.
Right.
It really,
you imagine?
it has
Yeah.
been, and what you guys just said, on my own small scale, we've learned that the government really they just put so many roadblocks, and there's so many layers of just red tape you have to go through. I've said to my wife several times, I don't think until we move into our new house next April, I don't think that I'm going to enjoy this process because it's
You would be correct.
Yeah, it's incredibly stressful, and not only that, it's just every day that brings on more aggravation. But something as simple as we've got the two construction sites going on right alongside each other, right? And I love everybody coming by. Oh, I think this is great. Which, by the way, everybody has an opinion of how great it is, but nobody's willing to step up and take the same risk. I always find that interesting. So, that's unbelievable. You guys are great. We think it's wonderful. Meanwhile, a year from now, if my wife and I are in bankruptcy, everyone's going to say, well, those dummies over there, we knew what was going to happen. So it's fun. Anyway, but we've got the two construction sites, and the lower, again, this lower lot property, foundation is now in.
Right.
Again, 6 weeks ago. The upper property where my new home's going to be, they're starting to dig the foundation. We had to demolish the other house. So in between the demolition and the digging of the foundation, there was
two job sites.
There was a large hole in the ground, which, frankly, if you had an ATV, was great because they had smoothed it over. It was great.
Yeah.
The town came out and said we had to go out and put a fence around the hole.
That was covered?
We had a week's period between the demolition, the old foundation, being dug out for the new foundation. 1 week. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the property, the bottom lot, we've got concrete. We've got a foundation being dug out. There was a hole that if a family of deer were walking by, they'd be down there. They'd never get out. Okay. So I said to the building inspector again, well, why do I need to put a fence around this old foundation, which was smoothed over? You could drive your car or truck in and out of it. It was great. Kids were loving it with their bicycles. But yet at the bottom, where I could fall into a pit, basically, I don't need a fence. And what you get, that's the way we do it.
So we got to protect people.
That's the way we
do it. It senses you.
So the pit, good luck with that.
Right, good luck.
But we're going to make sure you don't trip over a cinder block up here.
But there's nothing on the upper block.
It's just flat?
Well, because when you did the demolition, they had to come out and approve there's nothing left behind. It's just flat. It's just it's a large hole.
So you have to put a fence around.
We had to go out and buy a fence to put around that was up for maybe 10 days. And now it's sitting in a corner lot that if somebody, needs a nice fence.
Bob, you might want to check with some other people building in the area. Oh, wait, there's not a lot of that going on.
No, there's not exactly.
And see if they need a fence to cover up their thing that's the way they've always done it.
Tell us about the fill dirt.
I'm sorry?
The dirt incident, about the dirt.
Bob, are you going to do this? You can't go home.
Should you not do the dirt?
No, I don't want to do the dirt.
Okay.
I'm not doing the dirt.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I thought
Do the dirt.
Well, it's just
the dirt.
It's just a list of extortion.
Do the
You're
dirt.
talking
Do the
about
dirt, Bob. Do the dirt.
The power company? What I was just telling.
I was just talking about the dirt was available, and you said, "Yeah, just leave it behind." And they said,
"Oh, that's what. Okay, that's the power
Do
company."
it.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing. All right, so
that's up to you. They don't do the
fine.
dirt.
Do the
I'll be
dirt.
quick.
Do the dirt.
Here's the dirt story.
Give us the dirt.
So
Do it.
we're putting natural gas. Everyone knows oil prices right now. Where I happen to live, Northeast, oil prices are. We heat our homes all all winter long.
Y'all
very
require
hot.
a lot more than we do.
So we're going natural gas, right? Okay. Have to dig up the main highway to bring in these lines. They had told me it was going to be $24,000 and change to bring 2 gas lines into these houses. But all along for a month or so, they were saying they were going to pick it up because of the load that we are going to pull from the houses for stove, furnace, whatever else.
It'll be a good investment.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
There's a bizarre concept.
But we had to sign a contract for the life of the homes that they would be on natural gas. No problem at all whatsoever. So then when it comes down to the end of the, to the kind of decision time, they say, well, we want you to pay 50% of that. So $12,225 we had to pay. And
so that changed.
So I said to the woman, well, how do we go from 0 to 225? Well, what 12,225? That's a pretty big jump.
Big jump.
How do do you do that? And she said, well, we recalculated your numbers.
I love the recalculation.
And, again, I don't know where these numbers come from. I mean, who knows?
Right.
But, and that's the number. And I said, well, listen. And you guys know me well enough. Absolutely not. I said, my wife and I, there's no way we're going to pay this price.
I knew that was coming.
So, and I said to her, we are not.
Hello, Sicily.
We're not exactly. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's the Sicilians. We're not spending more than $5,000 to put the lines in for the 2 houses. If you can do it for that, call me back by tomorrow afternoon. If you can't, we're just going to go oil. Best wishes. And that afternoon, around 3 o'clock, she calls me back, and she said, Mr. Carey, would you be okay? I want to let you know, I talked to supervisors, whoever I talked to. Would you be okay when we come out and trench the lines, if any excess soil that we dig out to put the piping in, that we leave behind on the property? Now, we don't care at all because it's a construction site right now.
How big's the pipe you're putting in?
Well, it's maybe 3-4 inch pipe. It's not a very big.
So how much? How much dirt? Because you're filling it back up.
There's not going to be much dirt at all. But it was
a big hill you got to cover.
But the line. So she
Washing
said.
off.
I said to her, the one name. I said,
milkweed erosion.
Fine. Exactly. I don't care. We have to bring dirt in. So she said, okay, well, if that's in that case, then.
So you need dirt. They're producing dirt. Yeah, I'll take the dirt.
It's a win-win. There's your dirt. But she said, in that case, then, we can do it for $4,884. Now, we went from 0 to $12,225. I put my hand up and said, absolutely not unless we do $5,000. And now she comes in at $4,884.
Right.
And I said to her, well, woman's name Mirasol. I said, Mirasol, well,
there it is.
Yeah.
Where did you get that number? And she said, and I do.
From my supervisor, you said
this made me laugh.
Somebody get the razor out of Bob's hand.
Well, exactly. This made me. She said, and I give her credit. She goes, "Well, you said you wouldn't spend more than $5,000, and I didn't want to come back at $5,000.
So it's not a real number.
It's exactly. I rate. So I mean, what if I said 2? I don't even know now. I'm thinking to myself,
right.
I mean,
so what they said, then they're trying to act like they're not. I love this too. They're trying to act like too. They're not even charging you to run the line there. They're just charging you for the dirt.
That's what they're charging me for. I'm paying $4,000 for my own dirt. They're selling myself.
24,000. How big a road are they digging up? Is it an interstate?
Well, I mean, because there are no gas lines. No, it's not. It's I don't know. It's like maybe 400 feet they have to run it between the 2 houses or something. So it's not a huge distance, but it's large enough that
I
that's
tell you,
price.
Gary the bulldozer man could do it cheaper than that.
That's it.
I guess they lost the concept when cell companies tried to get new areas. They handed out phones. And they made their money on the service.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really,
but
really
the lesson
the
here
phone.
is, I'll just say, anybody who's building, and you guys have gone through this. I mean, Speedy, we were talking about it before. You have to challenge everything. Absolutely everything.
And it's just exhausting.
It is totally exhausting. Exactly.
It drains everything out.
Because at some point you realize, hey, I own a company too. I got to work.
So,
well, but
I'm enjoying being down here for the next few days because I don't have to deal with it.
But,
nice.
But Bob, here's the thing. It's one thing
Plus
when you have to
till you get home.
It's one thing when you have to check everything with the actual people doing the work.
Right.
It's another thing when you're having to do that and be sure the government's not just extorting money from you.
Yeah.
Totally.
Trying to make you jump through hoops.
Right.
Yeah. And have they made Mary mad yet?
She's over the top.
You don't want Mama mad because as my wife looked at the builder that built my house and said, right now I want to slap you so hard, and we're kind of having like a little come to Jesus meeting out in the front yard.
Mary's issue is more with the builder than this other stuff. Yeah.
So
that was an uncomfortable moment.
Welcome home, Bob.
Thanks.
Milkweed.
We'll be right back. Up next, Monarch Butterfly.
Rick and Bubba.